Okay, so picture this. James Crawford, tech millionaire, standing on his marble steps like some kind of suspicious parent watching his kid leave for prom. Except instead of worrying about teenage shenanigans, he's convinced his housekeeper Elena is about to rob him blind. "Elena, hold up!" She turns around, these grocery bags weighing down both arms, and you can literally see her thinking, "Oh great, what now?" Her dark curls are escaping from her ponytail after a long day of making his mansion sparkle. "Yeah, Mr. Crawford, did I forget something?" James crosses his arms, real subtle. "Those bags, what's in them?" And Elena's grip tightens. You know that feeling when someone's questioning you and suddenly even your most innocent actions feel guilty? "Just groceries I grabbed during lunch. Is there a problem?" Here's where James really shows his charm. "You've been leaving early. A lot. All these family emergencies." Elena's face goes red. Not embarrassed red. Angry red. "My mom is sick. I've told you this like 5 times. But James, he's on a roll now. Steps closer like he's some kind of detective. "And you need more money. I heard you on the phone yesterday." Look, I get it. The man's been burned before. But Elena just stares at him like he's lost his mind. "I don't understand what you're asking me." "I'm not asking. I'm telling you. Something's going on." And that's when Elena does something beautiful. She straightens up, adjusts those grocery bags, and looks him dead in the eye. "If you don't trust me, Mr. Crawford, maybe you should find someone else to clean your house." Mic drop. She walks away, heels clicking on the pavement, leaving James standing there like the paranoid jerk he's being. So James goes back inside his mansion, and pours himself a scotch, because nothing says "I'm handling this well" like day drinking while staring at the Seattle skyline. His phone buzzes. It's Ryan, his assistant / only actual friend. Any luck with that background check on Elena? Ryan sighs through the phone. You can practically hear him rolling his eyes. Clean as a whistle. "But James, you're being paranoid again. She's worked for you 8 months without stealing so much as a paperclip. Remember Jennifer? That was 3 housekeepers ago and 2 girlfriends ago. You can't live like this forever." But James hangs up because, honestly, he's not ready for that conversation. Here's what's eating at him. Elena's been acting weird. Those phone calls in rapid Spanish where he caught the words "más dinero," more money. That receipt he found for $500 wired to Honduras. When he asked about it, she got all stammery and changed the subject. And then, this is where it gets really sad, he pulls up security footage and watches Elena during her lunch break. She's browsing jewelry websites, diamond earrings, tennis bracelets, stuff that costs more than he pays her in 6 months. In James' mind, it's all adding up to one thing. She's planning to rip him off. His phone buzzes with a text from Elena. "Working late tonight, don't wait up." And something in James just snaps. Working late? Where? He gave her the evening off. So what does our rational, well-adjusted millionaire do? He grabs his keys and decides to follow her. I know, it's creepy, but stick with me here. James tails the bus like he's in some kind of spy movie. His hands are sweating, his heart's pounding, and he's probably having second thoughts but pushing through anyway, because sometimes we do stupid things when we're scared. The bus stops in Pioneer Square, and Elena gets off with those same grocery bags. She walks towards this run-down building with faded Spanish writing on the front. James parks across the street, fully committed to his weird stalker mission now, and watches Elena disappear through glass doors under a sign that reads, Centro Esperanza, a community center. He creeps closer, again creepy, but we're past that now, and looks through the windows. Elena is setting down her bags, hugging this elderly woman, and then she moves to the front of a room full of older adults with notebooks and pencils. "Good evening, everyone. Tonight we're going to practice ordering food at restaurants." And her voice carries through the thin walls. And James just stops breathing for a second. She's teaching English classes to elderly immigrants. For the next hour, he watches Elena be more patient and kind than he's ever seen anyone be. When an old man struggles with pronunciation, she kneels beside his chair. When a woman looks frustrated, Elena squeezes her shoulder and encourages her in Spanish. After class, and this is the part that really gets me, Elena unpacks those grocery bags, not for herself. She makes sandwiches for her students, plates of fruit. She chats with them while they eat, and she's glowing, like genuinely happy in a way James has never seen. James stumbles backward, his whole world tilting. The $500 wire transfer, the early departures, the phone call about needing more money. It all makes sense now. Just not the way he thought. James drives home in a daze. He researches the Centro Esperanza online. It's a nonprofit serving Seattle's immigrant community. English classes, legal aid, job training, childcare, all running on donations and volunteers. And there's Elena in all the photos, teaching, organizing food drives, reading to kids. In every single picture, she looks alive. The center's barely staying afloat, operating month to month, programs getting cut, building falling apart. James thinks about Elena working 3 jobs just so she can afford to volunteer here every night, buying food for people with her own money while he's sitting in his mansion being suspicious about grocery bags. His phone rings. Ryan again. "Find anything interesting in your spy mission?" James rubs his face. "I'm an idiot." "What happened?" "She's not stealing from me. She's good, Ryan. Actually good. The money she sends home, her mom's medical bills, the early departures, she volunteers here every night. That expensive jewelry she was looking at, probably just dreaming, like everyone else does." Silence. Then Ryan's gentle voice. "When's the last time you met someone genuinely good?" "I don't think I ever have." The next morning, James times his coffee break perfectly. Elena seems surprised to find him in the kitchen. "Good morning, Mr. Crawford. I'll get out of your way." "Actually, could you stay? I'd like to hear about your evening classes." Elena freezes, dish towel in her hands. "My what?" "Your volunteer work, teaching English." Her face goes pale. "I don't know what you mean." "Elena." James sits down. "I followed you last night." She sinks into a chair, looking defeated. "Are you going to fire me?" "Fire you? Why would I fire you?" "Because I lied about working late. Because I used my lunch break to buy food for the center instead of eating. Because I've been distracted thinking about my students when I should be focused on your house." James stares at this woman who thinks compassion is a firing offense. "Tell me about them, your students." And when Elena starts talking about Maria, 73, who wants to talk to her doctor without her granddaughter translating, and Carlos, who worked construction for 40 years but can't read safety signs, her whole face transforms. The careful, quiet housekeeper disappears, replaced by someone passionate and alive. "The center's barely staying afloat," she says quietly. "We can barely afford rent." That afternoon, James makes an anonymous donation, $50,000, enough to keep them running for months. And for the first time in years, his money feels useful. "Someone donated $50,000, Elena bursts into the kitchen the next morning, practically bouncing. "Can you believe it? The center is saved." James hides his smile behind his coffee cup. "That's wonderful. Any idea who?" "Anonymous. They just said they believed in our mission." Elena's unpacking her cleaning supplies, but she's moving like she's dancing. "We can fix the heater, buy new textbooks, maybe even start a computer class. Maria cried when I told her." Over the next few weeks, James finds himself, well,
basically manufacturing reasons to be home during Elena's work hours. Suddenly, he needs coffee when she's dusting the living room. Urgent emails that can only be sent from the kitchen while she's making lunch. Their conversations get longer, more personal. Elena tells him about her thesis on economic inequality, her dreams of becoming a social worker, how homesick she gets for Honduras. James shares carefully selected stories about his business, his travels, his loneliness. "Don't you have family?" Elena asks one day, arranging flowers. "My parents died when I was 22. Car accident." Elena's hands go still. "I'm sorry. That must have been terrible." "It was, but it taught me to be self-reliant. Maybe too self-reliant." "Family isn't just blood," Elena says gently. "At the center, we're all family. Mrs. Chen brings soup for everyone. Mr. Rodriguez fixes things without being asked. We take care of each other." James envies that. His world is business associates, employees, and people who want something from him. Even Ryan's technically on his payroll. In December, James makes another anonymous donation. Computers for the new lab Elena mentioned. He watches the news coverage of the community celebrating, Elena beaming as she cuts the ribbon. "You seem different lately," Ryan observes. "Happier." "Do I?" "You're smiling more, and you haven't run a background check on anyone in weeks." One January morning, James finds Elena at his kitchen table, surrounded by textbooks and papers. "Sorry, Mr. Crawford. I came in early to make up time. I have a thesis meeting later." "What's your thesis about?" Elena's face lights up. For the next hour, she explains her research with a kind of passion that makes you want to listen. She talks about systemic inequalities, about families working multiple jobs but still struggling, about the dignity of people who just need opportunity. Most people don't see it. They see someone cleaning their house and assume that's all they're capable of. But Carlos was an engineer in El Salvador. Isabella ran her own bakery. They're brilliant people reduced to survival jobs. James feels a stab of guilt, remembering his own assumptions. "I want to change that," Elena continues. "Create programs that recognize people's skills, help them build on what they already know." "That's incredible work, Elena." She blushes. "It's just research. Probably won't change anything." "Don't say that. You're already changing things." Their eyes meet across the table, and something shifts. That afternoon, James makes his move. "Elena, I'd like to offer you a full-time position. Better salary, health benefits, paid vacation. You'd manage the household, coordinate with staff, handle my schedule." Elena stares at him. "That's very generous, but I don't understand. You barely trust me to dust your books." "I trust you. And I realize I mean it. The salary would be enough to help your mother and pay for school." Elena bites her lip. "Can I think about it?" But James can see the conflict in her eyes. More money means security, but less time for the center, less time for her studies, less time for the work that makes her come alive. A week later, Elena finds him in his office. "I've decided about the job offer." James' heart races. "And?" "I'm grateful, really, but I can't accept." "Why not?" "Because I'd be living someone else's dream instead of my own. The center needs me. My studies matter, and honestly," she meets his eyes, "I've fallen in love with someone impossible, and taking this job would make me feel like I'm betraying that feeling." James feels the world tilt. Someone impossible? Someone who represents everything I want to do with my life. Someone who makes me want to be better, do more, help people. But our worlds are too different. It could never work. James's heart hammers against his ribs. "Elena, I should go. This is too personal. I'm sorry." As Elena hurries out, James stares after her, stunned. She's in love with someone else. Someone who inspires her. Someone who shares her values. Someone who isn't him.
The weekend drags by, with James staring at spreadsheets but seeing nothing. Monday morning, the easy warmth between them is gone. They're back to formal politeness, and it's killing him. Friday afternoon, she knocks on his office door. "Mr. Crawford, I need to give you my notice." His stomach drops. "Your notice?" "2 weeks. I'm sorry for the short notice, but I need to focus on finishing my thesis. I've been accepted into a graduate program for social work." "That's... congratulations. That's quite an achievement." "Thank you." Elena fidgets with her cleaning supplies. "I can help train my replacement if you'd like." "That won't be necessary." Silence stretches between them. "Elena," she pauses at the door, "I'm proud of you. What you're doing, it matters." Her shoulders sag slightly. "Thank you, Mr. Crawford. That means more than you know." Those 2 weeks are torture. James memorizes Elena's routines, knowing each day brings him closer to losing her completely. He writes recommendation letters that feel like love letters he'll never send. Thursday evening, Elena stays late to organize his files. James brings her coffee and finds her crying quietly at his kitchen table. "What's wrong?" She wipes her eyes. "Nothing. Just tired." "Elena." "It's stupid. I'm leaving to pursue my dreams, which is what I wanted, but I'm going to miss this. Our talks, feeling like someone cares about my work." James sits across from her. "Someone does care. Someone always will." Their eyes meet, and James almost tells her everything about following her, about the donations, about how she changed his world, and how he fell in love with her kindness and passion and brilliant mind. Instead, he says, "The person you mentioned, the impossible one, have you told him how you feel?" Elena shakes her head. "What's the point? We're from different worlds. He'd never see me as anything more than..." She gestures helplessly. "Then what?" "Then what I am, someone who cleans houses and comes from nothing." "Elena, you're not nothing. You're extraordinary." She smiles sadly. "You're kind to say that." Friday arrives too soon. Elena finishes her tasks and packs her supplies. James has prepared her final paycheck with a substantial bonus. "This is too much," Elena says, staring at the check. "You've been invaluable. Consider it a graduation gift." Elena's eyes fill with tears. "I don't know what to say." "Say you'll keep in touch." "Of course." They stand in his entryway, neither wanting to say goodbye. Finally, Elena steps forward and hugs him briefly. "Thank you for everything, Mr. Crawford. You've been more than an employer. You've been a friend." After she leaves, James walks through his perfectly clean, completely empty house. He's back in his fortress, but now the walls feel like a prison. 3 months later, James is staring at an invitation to the Centro Esperanza's annual fundraising gala. Elena will be there, receiving an award for her volunteer service. Against his better judgment, he RSVPs yes. The night of the gala, the community center is transformed with string lights and white linens. James arrives feeling overdressed and out of place, but then he sees Elena across the room. She looks stunning, talking with families, glowing with the confidence of someone who found her calling. When Elena accepts her award, she says, "This community saved me as much as I've tried to serve it. We also have an anonymous donor to thank, someone whose generosity has allowed us to expand our programs. Whoever you are, you've shown us that kindness comes from unexpected places, and sometimes angels appear when we need them most." James's hands clench in his lap. She still doesn't know. Finally, as the evening winds down, Elena approaches him. "Mr. Crawford, I can't believe you're here."
Congratulations on your award. You deserve it. Thank you. This is unexpected. Before James can respond, Elena's phone rings. She talks rapidly in Spanish, then hangs up, beaming. Good news? The best. My mother's cancer is officially in remission. An anonymous benefactor helped pay for her treatment. I've been trying to find them to thank them. James feels his throat tighten. She's thanking him without knowing it. Sophia, he begins, then stops. What is it? James looks into her warm brown eyes and makes a decision that will change everything. There's something I need to tell you. Elena, I need to tell you something about the anonymous donor. Elena tilts her head, confused. What about them? James takes a deep breath. It was me. Both donations to the center and for your mother's medical bills. Elena stares at him, her award trembling in her hands. What? The $50,000 to save the center, the money for your mother's surgery, the computers, all of it. But how did you even know about... Elena's eyes widen as understanding dawns. You followed me. James nods, his shame flooding his face. That night you left early. I thought you were stealing from me. I followed you here and saw you teaching. I realized how wrong I'd been about everything. Elena sinks into a nearby chair. You've been watching my life, manipulating it? No, Elena, that's not... Isn't it? Her voice rises. You decided what I needed, what my family needed, what this place needed, without asking, without telling me? James kneels beside her chair. You're right. I should have told you. But at first I was ashamed of why I followed you. Then later I was afraid you'd refuse the help if you knew it came from me. Of course I would have refused. Elena stands abruptly. Do you have any idea how it feels to learn that your independence, your family's health, your community's survival, all of it was just some rich man's charity project? It wasn't charity, James says desperately. Elena, watching you that night, seeing how you lived, how you gave everything to help others, it changed me. For the first time in my life, I understood what real wealth looked like. Elena paces away, then back. And what was I to you? Some noble, poor person who made you feel good about yourself? You were the first person I trusted in 15 years. You were kindness and intelligence and everything good I thought had been stripped out of the world. You were... what? James stands, meeting her eyes. You were the person I fell in love with. Elena's anger falters. Don't. I know you love someone else, someone impossible who inspires you to do good work. I know I'm not that person, but I need you to know that helping you wasn't about control or charity. It was about love. Elena stares at him, tears forming in her eyes. You really don't understand, do you? Understand what? Her voice is gentle now. You are that person. The impossible one I told you about. James feels the world shift. What? Did you think I was talking about someone else? You were the only man in my life, the only one who listened to my dreams, who made me feel like my work mattered. But I convinced myself it was hopeless because you were my employer, because you were rich, because I was just the help. James steps closer. Elena, I spent months falling in love with someone I thought could never love me back. And all this time, you were already loving me in the only way you knew how. They stand facing each other in the nearly empty community center, years of misunderstanding finally dissolving. So what do we do now? Elena asks. James takes her hands. I want to ask you something, and I need you to think carefully before you answer. Elena nods. I don't just want to date you, Elena. I want to build a life with you. A real partnership. I want to use everything I have, my money, my connections, my resources, to support the work you do. Not as charity, but as equals working towards the same goals. Elena's eyes widen. I've learned that money is just a tool. It only matters when it's used to help people. You've shown me how to use it right, I want you to teach me more. I want to learn from you, work beside you, love you while we make the world a little better." Elena smiles through her tears. "You want to be my partner in crime fighting poverty and injustice? I want to be your partner in everything." Elena stands on her toes and kisses him, soft and sweet and full of promise. When they break apart, James rests his forehead against hers. "There's one more thing," Elena says. "What's that?" "My mother wants to meet you." James grins. "Should I be nervous?" "Terrified. She's already decided you're too skinny and need feeding."
The Centro Esperanza has never looked more beautiful. White roses and string lights transform the space into something magical as Elena stands at the back in her grandmother's wedding dress. "You ready, mija?" her mother asks, adjusting Elena's veil. "More than ready, mama." Isabela Morales has been living in Seattle for 10 months now, her health fully restored. She took one look at James during their first meeting, declared him too skinny and too serious, and immediately set about fixing both problems. The wedding march begins, and Elena walks down the aisle between folding chairs filled with the most unlikely mix of guests. Tech executives sit beside her former English students. Carlos, now the center's IT director, thanks to a program Elena and James launched, dabs his eyes with a handkerchief. At the front, James waits in his perfectly tailored tuxedo, face glowing with happiness. When they exchange vows, James's voice carries clearly. "Elena, you taught me that wealth isn't measured in bank accounts, but in the lives we touch. You showed me that trust isn't weakness, but strength. I promise to be your partner in all things, in love, in life, and in the work of making this world more just and kind." Elena's voice is steady. "James, you taught me that assumptions can blind us to unexpected blessings. You showed me that vulnerability isn't foolishness, but courage. I promise to be your partner in all things, in dreams realized, in challenges faced, and in the joy of serving something greater than ourselves." When the priest pronounces them husband and wife, the entire community center erupts in cheers. The Crawford Morales Foundation officially launched 3 months ago, focusing on immigrant services, educational access, and community development. Elena serves as executive director, while James handles strategic planning and funding, a true partnership that's already impacted thousands of lives. During their first dance, Elena teases, "Remember when you thought I was stealing from you? Remember when you thought I could never see you as anything more than the help?" James counters. They laugh, spinning slowly as their community celebrates around them. Later, as the evening winds down, Elena finds herself standing where it all began, in front of the classroom where she taught English that first night James followed her. The room now bears a plaque, the Elena Morales Crawford Learning Center, where every voice matters. "Any regrets?" asks James, wrapping his arms around her. "Only one," Elena says, leaning back against his chest. "What's that?" "That it took us so long to figure out we were meant to be partners all along." James kisses the top of her head. "We found each other when we were ready. That's all that matters." Through the window, Seattle's skyline twinkles in the distance, the city where a suspicious millionaire once followed his housekeeper and discovered that the greatest fortune wasn't money, but finding someone who shared your values and multiplied your capacity for love. And honestly, that's the best kind of love story there is.